Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Expedition Africa Live. We are here at Expedition Africa Rodrigues at the island, at the Hotel of Cocotiers, and we are excited to bring you race 3 of this incredible journey. I cannot believe that we started 3 days ago and that these teams have been racing on for more than 60 hours at the moment. They'll be going over the night and into the morning, hopefully to 72 hours of racing, with just 2 hours of sleep. Before we kick the show off and welcome my special guests, here is your Elevated Adventure Films daily video.
No. I don't want to talk to the camera.
We're having a lekker hike here and we're on the way to the caves and the turtles, and one of my teammates is very afraid.
Yeah, no, I'm afraid of tight spaces, eh? I don't mind heights, but yeah, when it comes to caves, it's definitely not.
Been an interesting leg, eh? A little bit of swimming at night, but all good. A bit of sleep monsters last night.
I had proper sleep monsters last night. Had to go for a dosh for about 40 minutes. After doing an hour and a half in transition, but I didn't sleep so lekker there because it was too noisy. I really didn't know what to expect about this race, and especially being on such a small island. But we were pretty exposed in some places, and it's such an amazing race. We were like paddling through the night. If you missed the island, you were on the way to Mauritius. And it's been brutal though. The cycling's been heavy, the tracking's been proper nav, the nav's been great. And things like this, the tortoises, the caves, yeah, it's an awesome race. And we're not even halfway through, that's the best part.
It's been an amazing experience. I mean, the physical and the mental torment on the bodies are amazing, but the island diversity has been great. We've been seeing some really amazing islands coming now into this cave system. It's just out of this world.
Really is unique, and I think Stefan and Heidi have done an amazing job.
We just made a small error a while ago. We thought the water will be too low to cross over the channel, and started to climb out of the boat to walk across, but soon realized it's not necessary when we saw Merrill passing us on the side.
About catching, because I think it's on the stuff now. Greener was stranded, obviously with the low tide. When they finally got going, they said that they've been there for 1.5 hours.
Yeah, we had to sleep in the boat on the sandbank. Angry because I missed I forced them to run fast. Yeah.
After 2 days, adventure racing shows its true colours. Having taken the lead early on, Greener Adventure got stuck by the tides, used this time to sleep for 1.5 hours. This gave the other teams an opportunity to catch up, and the top 4 teams found themselves racing against each other on Coco Island. Only 3 of these teams arrived at TA9 and then raced for the Via Ferrata, but Blizzard got there first, which was a surprise.
What an exciting day we have had from the long paddle to Coco Island on leg 23. Basically, we had an incredible shuffle of teams. Team Greener Adventure were leading the race up till today, before they were overtaken by Blizzard and then Merrill. We were fortunate to have Annabelle down at T9 where the teams came in to bring us this little update.
We are T9 on the beach. We have behind us Blizzard, Merrill and Greener coming in, top 3 teams. It looks pretty tight amongst them all. So here we go, watch the action unfold. Merrill first and on shore. They are getting out their hiking gear and they'll be hiking to the Via Ferrata. We have the Swedish team here, Greener Adventures, they're second team in.
Bring your boat here.
Already getting organised, they're getting their packs off, going to put some dry shoes on I imagine, and they'll be off on their hike. Here we have the Russian team, third place behind us, Blizzard. Because of the wind they did end up coming in slightly to the right to where they wanted to come, but they're here now. So yes, like the other teams, getting their hiking gear ready and their climbing gear, like their harnesses and helmets, ready for the Via Ferrata, but a little bit slower into.
Following on from T9, the teams now set off on leg 24 of 29 for Expedition Africa Rodrigues. It's a tough 20-kilometer trek with a Via Ferrata section that is 1 kilometer long and an abseil off of what is actually built to be a bridge swing. That abseil is going to be quite interesting as these teams will be doing it during the night. I for one would be a little bit nervous. But with all the serious racing out the way, in fact, before we go on further, we are expecting the leaders here at Cocotiers Hotel at the finish after a 3-kilometer sup at roughly 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. There's a 100% chance that we will be going live. I'm sure Elevated will be managing that, and we would like to encourage that you check in. That's 6 a.m. South African time. With all the serious racing out the way, Annabelle and Craig went down to what has been the highlight of the race, the François Leguat Tortoise Park. At that park, basically the teams probably all wanted to slow down, some of them maybe not, and they ran through the Tortoise Park. It's you can't even describe it. It is spectacular to see. Basically, it's this massive kloof or canyon. With over 2,800 tortoises. I think 500 of them are inside. They're all giant tortoises, some as old as 100 years old, and the teams just soak it all in. Here is Annabelle.
A very good morning on day 3 of Expedition Africa 2019 Rodrigues. We are here at the François Leguat Reserve, and we're going to be exploring some caves and engaging with the tortoises. The teams will put their bags down over here, go into the reserve, check out the cave system and the tortoises. We caught up with a couple of teams at T5 and T6. They have banked some hours sleep and they're feeling refreshed and are ready for day 3 here. So let's go check out all the action in the caves. As you can see, we are at the entrance of the Grand Cavern, which is one of the biggest caves in the park, and a very, very special limestone formation in the cave with a lot of stalactites and stalagmites inside the cave. Teams will go in here, collect 2 or 3 checkpoints in the general cave section, and then move through the tighter section of the caves. We really want to share this special cave with you, so let's go inside and find some teams.
Good, this is amazing. Man, it would be an amazing place to do an adventure race right here. Imagine coming through here when you like haven't slept for like 3 days and you're tired and you've been paddling and you've been zip lining and you've been biking and you've been hiking. Now suddenly you're in here, like 1,000,000 years old, these caves, limestone. Look, imagine how long these would have taken to form. And then you get to go and hang out with tortoises. Expedition Africa 2019 Rodrigues, you rule.
Beautiful.
I think it's very great that they've isolated the walkway and keep it from contaminating the cave. I think it's very well set up. It's good. It's good. Well preserved.
And if you had to compare to sort of Kango caves?
Well, this was just a quick one. I believe there's still an adventure site, so I'll tell you afterwards. Because I know the Kango is quite beautiful and I like to crawl through places. So we'll see and then we'll tell you afterwards.
Cool.
Yeah.
Any last words?
Yeah, beautiful. Warmer inside than what we hoped for. But, no, good.
Lekker guys, we'll enjoy.
Dankie Greg.
Lekker julle, ja. Mooi.
I tell you, those caves are special, and to be able to walk 700 meters under the ground, it would be absolutely magical for any adventurer. What would freak anyone out a little bit is the extreme crawling that the teams actually have to do. If you head to our Kinetic Events Facebook page, you'll see some pictures last night from Bruce Vien showcasing Greener Adventure back then in the lead, actually crawling through a little gap, probably this big. Yeah, these guys have certainly had everything thrown at them. With me tonight, I am going to invite a guest. We've been fortunate to have some special guests this evening, and I think tonight we have such a special guest that I actually put on long pants. I felt that we had to be a little bit more formal. And so with that, I'll welcome, let me get his name up here so I can read it myself and pronounce it correctly. Mr. Davis Hee Hong Wye, is that correct?
Yeah.
Why? A Y. Yeah. Aha, there we go, okay. Close enough. Davis is good enough. Welcome, welcome to our show, and thank you for joining us. What is special about having Davis here is Davis is the Island Cheif Executive, which to me sounds like a big title, but from what I understand, it just means that you're the man in charge, a man with all the passion and all the dedication, and that people report to. Is that correct?
Yeah. This is one of the jobs I have on the island. The chief executive is more on the governance side, looking about the overall administration of the island. But tonight I'm here as also the chairman of our tourism office, and it is a pleasure welcoming all the participants, all the teams in Rodrigues, and I think it is a one life event in Rodrigues for all Rodriguans.
Yes, absolutely. Have you been out on course to watch the event at any stage?
Yeah, I was there at the start, and I've been riding around today, stopping at all the transition points. I had the pleasure of being at the transition points number 9, welcoming the first 3 teams.
Yes. How was that? It must have been buzzing with excitement.
Yeah, it was wonderful. Everybody, there was a small crowd there. And the good thing is that the Rodrigues is taking a lot of pleasure watching all the participants around the island.
Now, at the transition, we have a number of Rodriguan, is Rodriguan the right word?
Yeah.
We have a lot of Rodriguan volunteers. We have 50 of them working on the event with 30 other international volunteers. Have you seen them working together? How's that experience been?
That's fantastic. I've seen that interaction between the locals and the international. There's no word to describe but friendship that has been developing within 2 days. And they were chatting, the Rodrigues was trying to share a bit of a culture, you know.
Yes.
On one of the transition points there was the Rodrigues frying fish, sharing a drink with international. I think this bonding is very, very good. That shows a bit of our culture, what we have to offer. We have a small island, but we have only our heart to two people.
Now, you say you have a small island, but for such a small place, there's a lot going on here. We have every adventure sport underneath the sun. Your biggest one being kite surfing and sailing, I think.
Yes.
You have zip lines, via ferratas, that sort of a thing. If you were to come here as a tourist, what is the one thing that you would want to do?
I think today most of the tourists come for training around the island, walking, having a look at the beauty of the unspoiled places of the island. Now the tourism office is trying to develop some eco-friendly activities like the zip lining. For example, the Ferrata was the participants of the first one to use that. It's just new. It's only 3 or 4 weeks ago that it was ready.
Sure.
So the participants are the first public to be using that all the facilities there. So the policy here is to develop the island as an ecological island. So we are working on everything that would be in that direction. The sub paddle would be this would be a new activity that we'll be developing also on the island. There's none of it now.
Yes.
So I think this race has also some good side of it, but it is trying to introduce new discipline.
100%, yeah. I mean, we're trying to develop sport, and
yeah.
The fantastic thing about adventure racing is that you can have so many diverse or so many different sports all incorporated into one event, and through those different sports we end up linking up with one individual sport and then pulling them in. You mentioned you want to drive this island as an ecological island, and one of the things I think all the teams were shocked by and positively taken aback by is that they weren't allowed to bring plastic onto the island.
Yes.
Which is amazing because you want to keep your oceans clean, your streets clean. What else are you guys doing that is out there? Because no plastic is big thinking. What other big thinking is there for Rodrigues?
Basically, the big thinking is going towards an ecological island. Not only ecological, but a sustainable island also.
Okay.
So we had this ban on plastic bag. We introduced 4 years back a sustainable management of the octopus industry by having a closed season where the closed season during the reproduction of the octopus to allow them to grow to a size that is commercially viable. And the government here is trying now to do the same thing for everything like seafood. Lobsters, crawfish, we're trying to introduce closed season for that. And we had a special type of fishing which is called net fishing here within the lagoon. We're also trying to reduce the number of licensed fishermen on that.
But how does that all work? Because from what I can understand, and one of the things I liked about the island was that the people were so sustainable, not sustained or reliable, but they used the land to feed themselves, and I thought that was cool. As opposed to there's no McDonald's, there's no Steers, there's no shop. When we came here last year, February, the octopus that we ate, our bed and breakfast owner went out and fished himself.
Yes.
So is it about education more than restriction, or?
There's a lot of education. There's also restriction, but I think also there is people now are more aware that if we don't manage our resources properly, the new generation would suffer.
Yes.
So there is this. People now, they are aware of that and they participate a lot of that.
Okay.
We had some tough times when we start having the closed season for octopus for the first year. There was a lot of protests, fishers were saying that, but fortunately for the second year, it was the fishers themselves that said we want another closure.
Yes.
And today we have a 2 months ban from August to October, and now the fishers are, most of the fishers say that we need a second closure per year.
Wow. So the fishermen have actually understood.
They have understood the benefits of it. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Okay. That's unbelievable.
And now we believe that we believe in sustainable management of our resources.
Absolutely. That's incredible. And one of our participants, I mean, this island is beautiful, but as beautiful as it is, it's also tough.
Yeah.
One of our participants unfortunately got injured and was required to have surgery just yesterday. And he came back and he was so excited because he said he probably had the best hospital experience he's ever had in his life. Are you shocked by that? I mean,
I'm happy, but we personally here we are not very satisfied with whatever. We want to be more professional. We want to be.
You want to be better than the best experience.
Yeah, but the best experience, yes. And we're on the way of doing that. We are doing a lot of things to make the health sector more customer friendly, and I'm happy.
Yeah. I mean, I'm harping on it, but the feeling I get from the Rodriguians is that everyone has this idea of just doing better and being better and driving to a whole new level of tourism and living. And that's fantastic. So going back to the race now, you've been watching the race unfold. When you had the initial discussions with Heidi and Stefan, and they said they're going to need a shipping tanker to bring in bicycles, we're going to have to change Air Mauritius flights, and we're going to have to book every hotel on the island. Did you have an idea, or what was going through your mind then compared to what you see now?
At the start, when we just had the first exchange of mail with Heidi about this project, my thought was that it's just a small race and it won't involve all this logistics, you know. And we already agreed with Heidi that we have Heidi and Stefan that we'll have a race, and then they pop in last year in November, and it's then when we started to go into the details of the things, and and I think the biggest challenge we overcome was the logistic of bringing everything here. You know, just imagine that we have only a small ATR 72 with 60 seats, 65 seats, with load restriction to land in Rodrigues, and we had to bring 240 bikes here, and each of the participants were allowed on Mauritius the 2 pieces of luggage plus 1 extra bike, so it was 3 pieces of luggage, and I think we had to think out of the box, and we found solutions what are not common.
But that fits with the theme that I mentioned earlier, that the fact that you guys are problem solvers. You're excited, and someone came to you. Well, I mean, you came to them and you said, "Oh, let's do this race." And
I think the race, the logistic behind the race was an adventure for us also.
Yes, it normally is. It normally is.
Normally is.
Okay, so the race is happening. You saw the leaders at Transition 9.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're familiar with the team names, but we have Merrill, the South Africans.
Yeah, was one South African, one from Sweden.
One from Sweden and one from Russia.
Yeah.
When you saw them come in, did you go, I want that team to win? And which team do you think it is?
I think the challenge, I don't think we can predict a team to win.
Yeah.
I think the challenge is in the lagoon.
Okay.
And it's the one who best master the tides, the different tides level.
Yes.
They are the one who is going to win.
Okay. And they have been like that. We do have we do have one more. I think it's one more, maybe 2 more paddles still to come.
Yeah.
That the teams need to plan over the next 12 hours. So I think it might actually come down to that.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for joining us.
It was a pleasure.
You're an incredibly busy man. I'm honoured to have the Island Cheif Executive join us on our show. Thank you, Davis, for all the time.
It was a pleasure, I wish you good luck, Paul.
And I'll see you bright and early in the morning to welcome the teams over the finish line.
I will be there.
Fantastic. Awesome. Thank you. Following that segment, we are now going to move on to a little chat with Annabella. Annabella went out to the François Leguat Tortoise Park, and she got to basically have some tea with 100-year-old animals, reptiles. And then following that, we're going to be joined by the park manager and the operations manager of the François Leguat Tortoise Park. So stay tuned.
Welcome, here we are at the Tortoise Colony on Rodrigues Island, a very, very special place. 3,400 tortoises live here, hard to believe, particularly because one time they were nearly extinct. This place has been open since 2007 and we're going to go now check it out. The teams are going to be coming through here. Lucky them, what a day.
Okay, we managed to slow down Velocity Made Good, and we think it's quite appropriate that we caught them here in the tortoise conservation area. They are moving very, very fast, and we're talking about the tortoises. Guys, how's your experience of the conservation area so far?
It's a very big privilege actually to be here. We've read up a little bit about the tortoises, and they almost were extinct. And they are giants, and they're so old. So it is actually a big privilege to be able to be here and to touch them.
Older even than Grijsbaard.
Yeah, they're even older than old Grijsbaard, and at this stage we're not that fast. I almost think they will outrun us. if they so wish.
They've got better things to do.
Yeah.
Wonderful, guys. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of the race.
Cool, man.
Thanks for your time, hey?
Cheers, guys.
Cool, that's awesome.
It is truly special, and I cannot stress that enough. It's not even special, it's beautiful, it's mesmerizing, and it's a wake-up call to walk through that stunning canyon with all those tortoises. It makes you realize how beautiful our country, our earth is, and the country of Rodrigues is. Speaking about tortoises, we are very lucky to have the François Leguat operations manager, Arno, join us on the show tonight. Welcome, man. Thank you very much for joining us.
It's a pleasure.
It's been
Thanks
a while.
for the invitation.
Yeah, no problem. It's been a wild ride, don't you think?
What?
A wild ride, this whole event.
Yeah. It's a very, very interesting event, and I'm very happy to be helping in this event. And I was waiting for it for a long time, because I met Heidi and Stefan about 2 years ago, and we start talking about that event. Yeah.
You've been involved from the start, actually.
Actually, all started one night. I was at my place and I got a phone call. I know, what are you doing? And from the owner, where Heidi and Stefan was staying. And I said, yeah, I'm watching TV and I just have dinner. Can you come to my place? And I said, yeah, don't worry. In 5 minutes I will be at your place. And it's the first time I met Heidi and Stefan, and we start to talk about what we want to do in Rodrigues and if I can help. And so it's all started from there.
Now, for the viewers that don't know, that started 13 months ago. We received the last minute call to come to Rodrigues to do the scouting trip. And as we arrive, Stefan goes, maps. I need maps to see where I'm going, and no one has maps because on the island everyone knows where they're going.
Yeah.
And everyone's relaxed. And Arno is actually a trail specialist. You know, and build and maintain majority of the trails around the island. Is that correct?
Exactly. So actually I started in the trail. I'm not a runner, but I organize different trails on Rodrigues now 10 years now, and so all the tracks I know them very well, and so we have an association here called Road Trail Association. So every month we do one trail, and
by one trail you mean run the trail?
Yeah,
okay.
We organize one trails every month. And also we have a big trail of which we call the Trail of Rodrigues.
Okay.
and this happen every first Sunday of November each year. And
Yes.
this year we are going to celebrate our 10th anniversary.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, when I came here, you mentioned that actually a famous South African had run your trail.
Yeah.
None other than Ryan Sands.
Right, Ryan Sanders came 4 years ago.
Yes.
Yeah.
And at that point, your race is, I think, 50 kilometers long.
Now it's 50 kilometers long, and then we have one which is 25 kilometers, and then we have one which is 15, and another one which is 7. It's mainly for the families also.
But you organised this 50-kilometer trail on your small island of Rodrigues, and
Yeah.
then Stefan comes to you and says, "No, we want to do 350 kilometers."
Yep. So
what goes through your mind?
And well, first time we talked with Stefan, I thought he wanted to have 350 kilometers on the island, and then I realized no, it's not only on the island, but it's only in the lagoons and everything. So, but on the first night we met, I went to my place and I started to draft some trucks for.
Yes, I remember, yeah.
I started to draft some trucks for him to, and I nearly reached my 300 kilometers in one night. Yeah,
Sure.
but but it's easy to do to organize and to find trucks on Rodrigues. So
Yeah.
it's very easy, even it's small.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you're the operations manager for the François Leguat
Reserve.
Tortoise Park,
Yeah.
the reserve. You've seen the teams come through there the whole day today, I would imagine.
Oh yeah, it was very busy.
And what does it mean to you, and what do you think it means to Rodrigues to have all these international people race through your reserve like that, to see and experience what they did with these giant tortoises?
I think it's a very good thing because so it's bringing more tourists to Rodrigues, and the reserve today economically the reserve has worked very well today.
Yes.
And because we have got lots of team today who came, a few during the night yesterday, but today over the whole day there was people team coming, and I can say that we were very happy to see them coming to our reserve, and I think that we have got a very good experience talking to them after looking for the CPs in the reserve. They were very, very happy to see the tortoises around and to meet them. They were stopping and they were playing with the tortoises. So
sure.
Yeah, and the cave also apparently we got a very good experiment in the cave, because there is one cave that we did is very shallow.
Yes.
And we have got great fun in this cave. And actually this cave is not a public cave, so which means it's only the participants of Expedition Africa
Really?
who got the chance to go through. So even I met the Rodrigues team, and they said thanks for letting us been able to go through this cave, because otherwise no one has the right to go in.
Are there other exclusive or special bits on the island that have only been used by Expedition Africa? Or do you think we've just about...
I think Expedition Africa has covered the whole island, but like for us at the Tortoise Reserve, there is one cave which is not a public cave, but we have opened it only for the race. Yeah. Yeah, it's an adventurous cave, and because it's so shallow, so we can't bring people every day inside. But for the race, it was open. Yeah.
Now you do operations for the park, you manage the trails, and now you've got a new job.
Yeah, I'm helping with local volunteers to move them around on all the different transitions. And every time there is a program of transition, if I need to move people, so everyone is calling me, okay, so I'm doing the drive, moving them everywhere. So it started on Sunday night, and it's still going on.
How much sleep have you had?
I've slept a little bit more than the teams,
but not enough.
But most of the work is up to 1 or 2 in the morning, and then I went to sleep, and then go back to work, and then come back on in the afternoon on all the different transitions, and yeah, so it's quite hard, but I'm used to it, because when I organize Trail de Rodrigues, it's happened that I don't sleep for more than 100 hours, so
sure.
yeah. I'm used to it, so there's no, and this race actually is. I'm happy to see all the logistics what has been put in place, and I like to, and it's giving me more experience to do to organize the Trail de Rodrigues. So there's lots of things that we can from the Expedition Africa. I'm learning a lot, so that's why I'm inside of it a lot.
That's actually quite cool. I never thought about the I don't want to say upskill, but the work benefits thereafter from having this event's logistics on the island.
Oh yeah, there's lots of things that that we are learning.
Yeah.
Even the local volunteers, because not all of the local volunteers, but part of them, it's all our volunteers for the Trail de Rodrigues. So we are learning a lot also there. Yeah.
Sure. That's fantastic.
And we are having very good time on all the different transitions.
Yeah. Well, that's nice to hear. I'm glad you're having fun.
We are having fun.
I saw you at T1 at the start, and you were all over the show. You were excited. You were there's a team coming in.
On T1, I was very excited.
Yeah. And now you're very tired. Still excited.
It's still excited. Yeah.
I think the excitement will carry on until Friday.
Yeah, but
and then we'll sleep properly.
At the same time, I'm helping with the race. I'm also organizing a race for Sunday morning.
No way.
Yeah, we have a race on Sunday morning, which is just what, about 1 kilometer from the hotel, and so I have a running race. A running race, which forms part of a league.
How do you enter?
It's you can come straight on at the start line.
I might bug you for those details. I imagine Annabelle on the back there might also be keen for a trail race.
Actually, I'm waiting for all the teams to come, and I'm going to talk to Stefan to maybe we can if there's people who came early and they want to do the race on Sunday, they can come. We'll have a 17 and a 10 kilometer.
Oh, that's
and
so cool.
there is also a kid race, which is 2 kilometers.
I'll do the 17, and Annabelle can do the kiddies race with holding Craig's hand.
Yeah. And when I finish with the race, I'm flying to Mauritius on Sunday night.
Wow.
So I will be very, very tired.
So you're not going to sleep until the end of the year, basically. There's lots going on. Because when this ends, it's your trail run, and then that's it.
I'm going. I need to go on mission to Mauritius for 1 week, and when I'm coming back, so I need to work. I'm organizing also the Trail de Rodrigues at the same time too, and so yeah, I'm very busy man at the moment. Yeah,
I can imagine.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to join us tonight.
It was a pleasure.
It's wonderful to see you again. I saw you at Transition 1. We didn't get a chance to.
You're going to see me on the finish line, because normally I'm helping also on the finish line. Yeah.
Well, then we'll see you bright and early tomorrow morning. So,
yes. I want to be there for the first team. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Thanks for everything. Thanks for this race to be in Rodrigues, and
no problem.
We hope that maybe one day he can come back to the island, because
I hope so.
Lots of people, the locals, are very happy to see all the different participants going around the island, and I can tell you we'll welcome you back to Rodrigues.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. I'm going to cut to camera over here, but I really appreciate your time.
It was a pleasure.
Cool.
Thank you very much, and good luck for everything.
Cool. Following on from that, we're going to quickly cut to stats with Stain. Stain's got some interesting stuff on the top teams and how they raced, and he has a sneaky suspicion that a certain team might have mistimed a tide, which has led to this leaders shake-up that we have. So here is stats with Stain.
Hi guys, Stan here. You've probably already seen it from some of the live video footage, but the big story of today is the tides, as usual. What happened this morning is that leaders Greener Adventure, they reached transition 7 here at about 8:30, which was exactly in line with the lowest of low tides, which gave them plenty of issues on this paddling leg across to transition 8 on this island. They had a 3-hour lead at transition 7. But all that meant is that the three other teams in the top four, Merrill, Blizzard, and Key Health, they timed their arrival at Transition 7 when the tide was much higher, and hence were able to paddle across this section much faster. It even looks like Greener Adventure might have gotten their boats stuck in a sandbank somewhere. I mean, the sandbanks are even visible on the satellite photos. Their tracker has been stuck for a while, so it's hard to tell. But you can see from these screenshots that the other teams were able to catch up to them. And I'll take you through the splits now, but essentially they all reached Transition 8 very close to each other. On the updated flow chart here, you can see exactly that. So Greener Adventure here had a nice 3-hour gap over the rest of the field. They reached Transition 7 at low tide, and that's narrowed that gap completely. It's almost acted as if it's a dark zone in other races where there's a bunching up of the field at the front end, and essentially almost a virtual restart of the race. What Merrill have done very well is they've paddled these last few legs very strongly. They're timing a surge very well, or have aligned it with the tides, and you can see that in the splits as well. Merrill's hit the fastest leg there in the paddling across to Transition 8. This does also include some of the mountain biking from before, and they've arrived at Transition 9 at the end of all of that paddling in the lead. I think it's quite a small lead. Greener Adventure got to Transition 9 just a few minutes behind them, and then Blizzard was next. I'm not sure exactly where Key Health was. But essentially with just about 50 kilometers of cycling, 35 k's of hiking, and 10 kilometers of paddling left, there's probably only about 15 hours of race left, and we essentially have the top 3 teams neck and neck going to be racing each other for that win. I did have a look at the sleep times these teams would have had over the course of last night, and initially it didn't seem like some of them had taken sleep, but a closer look at the dots, it seems like all the teams got between 1.5 and 2.5 hours of sleep at various places, mostly at Transition 6. For Key Health and Everest, it looked like the wheels did come off a little. They had 1.5 hours sleep in the middle of that caving and tortoise leg, and then slept again just 2 hours later in Transition for 2.5 hours before setting off on the 30k biking leg. But essentially all the teams have had some sleep last night, and will likely be pushing straight through tonight until the finish. I'd expect the winning team to finish the race tomorrow morning sometime. Maybe they could time it with the sunrise. That would be great for the photographers. Looks like the trackers have updated again just on time. So if we zoom into this first checkpoint on the track, all of these teams' trackers have updated within 15 minutes of each other. So yes, the top 3 teams, Merrill, Blizzard, and Greener Adventure, are neck and neck going into these final few tracking and mountain biking legs. Key Health has just left the transition after the paddle, so they're a little bit behind. I'd estimate about an hour or so. And yeah, they're heading off, tagging a whole lot of checkpoints along some hill summits, Kopi summits, picking their bikes up again at Transition 7, cycling back to where they left their boats, and then they have to load all of their kit, bikes, everything into the boats for the paddle across to T10. There are still a few more legs here to get to the finish line. Those will be revealed as the race progresses. Okay, that's it. We'll see you tomorrow for the finish, I guess. Probably, yeah, 6-7 o'clock, and then the other team's finishing by lunchtime, I would hope.
Alright, we're not going to keep you much longer there. There is lots going on, and I'm sure you guys want to get back to bed. Or get to bed and make sure that you're up early to watch the show. We are going to broadcast the finish live. We're going to have Charlotte out on the finish line talking about the team. We hope to get some reactions from them. So join us on Facebook. Comment on Facebook. Guys, these shows are live. Comment, send us comments. In fact, I'm going to put out a challenge there. If you have a look, every single time we go live, XPD Holland is the first team to comment. So you guys need to compete with these Dutchies. We should almost have our own race to see who's commenting the most on social media. It does help us. We can answer your questions. we can pass on the messages to the teams, and so basically get involved. We are going to end the show now with a little segment. Craig head out and he spent the entire day on the trails. He obviously had food on his mind because he ended up asking a number of teams what they're eating, what they got going, and what's been their food for them. And so we are going to touch a tiny little bit on that. In fact, we're going to head straight to it right now. So without further ado, here's Craig, and I'm going to sign off and say thank you very much and good night from Rodrigues.
It is preparing breakfast. So what is for breakfast, ladies?
Breakfast, we've got bovril, good old South African bovril, and we've got lovely Laughing Cow cheese on white rolls. Awesome.
Looks
Great to be in
delicious.
Rodrigues, and the little shop was open at 6 this morning.
We've got fresh bread.
Fresh bread.
So I'm assuming everybody's happy.
Yeah,
very
there's
happy.
some fruit from the market. So life's good.
Survived the swim yesterday, and yeah, we're good to go. We're very happy. Had a fabulous 3-hour sleep this morning. So ready for the caving, ready for the tortoises. Go name a few tortoises while we're there.
Cool, enjoy breakfast.
Thank you.
Okay, so at François Leguat we have spotted Team Spot looking ready for some food, it looks like. Zane, what's happening here?
Beer, first priority. Burger, second priority. Third priority is, do you love Rodrigues? Mwah, 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 mwah.